Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's discuss the second part and the final part of the reunion of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City Season 3 and the breaking news that I'm sure you just saw in the title. Okay guys, so we start off by Angie K addressing her comments that she made where she had insinuated that Jen and Heather were doing promiscuous things and that's how Heather got her black eye, which I think it was like very distasteful. I don't think it was necessary. Heather clearly seemed bothered by it. And then Andy asks Heather if she didn't want to know who did it. And Heather says basically that the Mormon guilt made her feel like because she was drunk, she deserved what happened to her. And then both Angie's and Danna are dismissed. And while they're getting off and getting ready for the next act, it was just so divisive to see how like the other side of the couch, being Whitney, Angie K, Lisa, and Danna, they were just like taking pictures, laughing, while on the other couch you had Meredith, Angie, Harrington, being there for Heather, who was like an emotional wreck. And I actually thought it was pretty sad. She was crying about that situation and about the guilt that she felt for blacking out. So then we come back with the original four and we switch to Whitney and her healing journey. She says that she definitely didn't feel supported and refers back to the Arizona trip and felt like Heather completely dismissed her feelings. Heather says that that was never her intention and that she doesn't want Whitney to think that. So it's kind of like, kind of an apology, but Whitney says that Heather's words are not landing just yet. Then they show a montage of their relationship, Bad Weather's relationship, and how it was like so good and then it ultimately went down. Andy says that he's surprised and he asks if it was necessary. He asks this to Whitney. If it was necessary to call Heather a liar for not remembering what Angie Harrington supposedly said. And I think that was the problem Whitney did. Like, she could have said what she wanted, but she dragged Heather into it. And Heather says that honestly, she did not hear what Whitney is saying that Angie said, which, it might be true. Andy then questions Heather on her mercy to Jen and how she has forgiven her multiple times and showed her a lot of grace. And Heather explains that she honestly holds Whitney to a much higher standard than she does with Jen. And Heather admits that the Whitney relationship that she has with Lisa now definitely has made it harder to work things out. And I'm glad she admitted it, because I've been saying it all along that the real reason they couldn't make up was because Whitney was friends with Lisa, and that has really bothered Heather. And then the other girls, being Lisa and Whitney, they make mention of how much Jen has dragged Heather in the past. And I thought that it was kind of funny because Lisa actually had like printed sheets of like messages, but they weren't even necessary. And Whitney promises Heather that she never had bad intentions of truly being mean to her. But they're showing footage of instances like at BravoCon and on Whitney's podcast where they have been attacking each other. And to make a long story short, I am team Heather when it comes to Whitney and Heather. I think that the deep root of Whitney's issue is the loyalty that Heather has had with Jen. Heather mentioned some struggles also that she's going through regarding the book and just how much backlash she has received. And I think that maybe that has a lot to do with why she acted different this season. That's just a thought. Then they take a break and go to lunch. And again, we see this division very clearly. Lisa and Whitney go together and to some place to eat, and then Heather and Meredith go to another. Although I will say, like, Whitney and Lisa, like, instead of enjoying their lunch, all they were doing was talking about the other two. Like, they seem very bothered. And then it's time for the husbands to join the conversation. They kind of brush over Whitney's husband getting fired because there are rumors that he actually got fired for other reasons, and it's not really because of that scene that he did with Whitney, which is what they're telling everyone. But anyway, they also have like some light, fun conversation, and they're like laughing about Meredith and Seth's bathtub scene, which was pretty funny. And then Lisa and John talk about their child and how they spoil him because apparently they give him like Range Rovers and expensive clothes and he doesn't want to go to college, so they touch on that real quick. And then they talk about Seth and the conversation that Lisa had with him at that party where she apologized. And of course Lisa is apologizing again. Then John is asked how he felt when Meredith was like somehow involved in these rumors about Lisa, about doing favors for the tequila and whatnot. And he said that he was super upset. And I was like, well, maybe now he knows what it was like for Seth last season. And then for some reason, John and Lisa are mad at Seth for some joke that Seth and Meredith were like in a closet and they were joking about giving Lisa 50 cents to make her richer, which I think it's ridiculous for them to get mad over that, because as Meredith said, everyone knows they have more than 50 cents. Like, come on now, it was just a joke. So then the husbands end up leaving and we touch on the principal theme of this overall season. I might just say like this overall show, which is Jen's legal journey. So they go over like everything from the very beginning, and it's so weird seeing old footage where Jen, like, she's like affirming that she's innocent, and like if you didn't know her, you might actually think that it was true, like the way she would affirm that she was innocent. And they begin discussing it, and it's surreal because these women know this woman personally, and they've actually been living through it, like her arrest, her hearings, you know, they've been there. Meredith is questioned on her change in viewpoint when it comes to Jen, because she was singing a very different tune in season 1, and they are trying to figure out why she changed. And Meredith says that what made her completely change was after she heard that Jen had attempted to unalive herself. And that makes a lot of sense, like giving Meredith's mission on mental health. She even gets emotional about it. But Andy pushes back on Meredith's feelings, but she says that she doesn't care what people say. And of course, Lisa pushes back, but Meredith is defending herself. And Lisa even accuses her of like looking up information about her and, you know, just trying to make the whole thing about her. And you guys, also one thing, remember, this reunion was filmed before sentencing. So they were still waiting for that. And Meredith said that she's not going to talk about whether she's innocent or guilty or this or that. I appreciate Meredith, because I've said it before, people need friends in the good times and in the bad times. So Meredith being supportive of Jen, even though she did something horrible, it tells me a lot about her character, about her loyalty and her love. God forbid somebody does something, you do something wrong, you want somebody there to support you. But Andy does ask a very interesting question, which is if Jen has shown any type of remorse with them, and they say that unfortunately she has not. And then Heather says that, yeah, of course, depending on the location of the prison, she will try to keep in touch. And there's actually also been rumors that Jen might have pleaded guilty to protect her marriage, meaning that maybe Coach knew and maybe was involved, so she took him for the team. And apparently Whitney and Lisa believe it, and they begin to talk about money. Whether or not they gave money or somebody asked for money, you know, a lot of that. But ultimately, they're reflecting on Jen's departure, and there's just way too many mixed emotions. And the reunion concludes, and they all give a brief description of the overall season and their feelings about it and what their regrets are. I will say things do not end well with Heather and Whitney. They have not resolved anything. Meredith and Lisa, they do seem neutral. They even cheered and they celebrated Meredith and Lisa's birthday, so they seem kind of friendly. And that's where we ended. And this is the end. There was going to be a third part, which was going to be Jen's one-on-one special, but that was scrapped. So this is officially the end of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City season 3. But now, you guys, for the big news, Page 6 can now confirm that Mary Cosby is returning next season as a friend of the show. And not only that, we're getting some other personalities that they say are like really, they're gonna ruffle feathers. So it looks like next season has a lot in store, which this show definitely needed, because nobody was just going to watch these 4 women, like, if we're being honest. So Mary Cosby coming back completely changes the game. Even though she's just coming as a friend of, I'm sure she's going to give us a lot to talk about. You guys in the comments though, let me know, what did you think of the reunion in general, and what is your reaction to Mary Cosby joining next season? I would like to read all the comments. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.